Welcome to a special episode of Starkey Soundbites. October is Protect Your Hearing Month, and I can think of no one better than William Sawalich to come back on the Soundbites podcast. You were here a year ago, and welcome back, William.
Thank you, appreciate it.
It's been a heck of a year for you.
Yeah, for sure.
William, for those of you who are unaware, is a rising star in motorsports racing. He came here last year when he was returning to Elko. And for those who are interested in the backstory of William's racing career, I would encourage you to go back and look at a past episode of Soundbites from last year, and you'll hear about, I'm proud to say that I've known you since you were known as the Raging Rooster. Now you've all grown up and you're William Sawalich Racing. So, but last year was really quite a year for you, ending up with you becoming the youngest winner of the All-American 400 race.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, last year was a really good year. We had 7 or 8 total wins in the ARCA platform. So that was really good for us. Builded a lot of confidence for this year, and just going into any race this year, we obviously knew we could win. And my Jacobs Racing team had a really good car for me anywhere I went. So I had a lot of confidence in them to bring me a car that I could win in. And like you said, the All-American 400, that was a really cool win, a milestone. Beat out
Chase Elliott,
I was just about to say.
Darrell Waltrip, won in the past too.
Yep, beat them out
and now
for that.
And you're the youngest winner of that race ever.
Yeah, you wanted that one.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It was kind of a spectacular finish too, as I remember watching it, that the top 8 cars spun out due to oil on the track.
Yeah, oil on the track. And 2 years prior to that, I got a concussion in that same race when I was about to win it.
Same turn, too.
Yeah, same turn. So it was kind of a little redemption.
Yeah.
So it felt really good.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And you picked up right where you left off last year. You've won 6 times this year already in this season. And you're also running now Truck Series.
Yes.
That seems to me like, okay, first question is, trucks or cars? What's more fun?
So, I mean, it depends on the driver, and you get to go to different tracks in the trucks.
Okay.
So the trucks have a different tire compound, so it's more grip, and they have more horsepower. So I always say more horsepower, more fun.
Yeah, no replacing displacement in horsepower.
For sure.
Yeah.
But they also have a higher center of gravity, so they'll roll over in the corner a little bit more compared to the ARCA cars. So they just handle a little different, but it's really based off of feel and what each driver might like. But for me, I'd like the ARCA car a lot. I mean, it's just got all the downforce you want, and you can push it really hard, and the tires don't wear away. So it's just a really fun car to drive.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. And the gentleman sitting to your right really doesn't need any introduction, given that he's now a 6-time guest on Soundbites. The first 6-time guest. Brandon, welcome.
Yes. Thank you, Dave.
And
this was a fun one.
Yeah, and they had an unveiling here on the Starkey campus of the number 18 car, which you've been racing, but also the number 19 car. So when you turn 18 in October, you will now be able to race in the Xfinity Series.
Yes.
And so that car, first of all, the wrap, or paint or wrap, great. I mean, I know they're all wraps these days, but the paint job on it is spectacular. I love the camel on the number 19.
Right.
And talk a little bit about what happens in the difference in horsepower between the 18 and the 19 car when you go up to Xfinity.
So the 18 is the ARCA car, and that's got about 550 horsepower. And it's restricted sometimes, like at the bigger tracks. It'll get restricted a little bit on horsepower. But the Xfinity car is about 650 or 700 horsepower. So a big bump up in horsepower. But almost the same compound in tire as the truck. So it's got the Goodyear tires on it compared to the General tires. Okay. And a lot less downforce. So it's just a lot more to handle in the corner, and you have kind of less to lean on. Yeah. So you got to do a little more as a driver. Yeah,
well, and you've certainly shown. I mean, Brandon, I don't know, you want to add in on this, but I remember I was in at a work meeting, and we simulcast his first race, an ARCA last year that was in Phoenix, right? Your first win, not your first race.
Yes.
And you led most of the way, but then at the end of that race, got spun out.
Yes, you got spun on a restart.
And I have to say, what I've seen in the maturity between last year and this year has been remarkable, because the thing that impresses me the most is like, you almost always are right at the top, finishing at the pole position for the start or near the top. So you really know how to find a line on any track that you're racing. But last year, you'd be out front and then you got bumped, and rubbing is racing, I think, as we learn. And what I've seen this year is you've gotten into it a lot more.
Yeah, he's more, my opinion, more aggressive. I mean, and that comes with experience.
Yeah.
Right, more of an aggressive. And I get asked, Phoenix or wherever, do I get nervous and everything? It's like, I believe in his skills and what his talent is. It's, I think kind of like everybody else, when you're driving normally, it's you're worried about others.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, and with him, and it's really what you always talk about is the team. Getting out there and being able to be out front and getting at the top. And it takes a team, and I've learned a lot just by, of course, being around it. Because you think, Talladega Nights, and go down the list, right? Just go fast.
Yep.
It's like chess, it's strategy. It really is, it is so much more. And what he's been able to do and continues to do is just, mind-boggling to me as a dad. But
and Brandon, you're fond of saying, don't worry about the competition, let them worry about you. But I think what happened between last year and this year is you've learned you do have to, you have to be aware of the competition. Last year, I would say, I don't know whether it's unfair to say, I mean, Jesse Love was sort of your nemesis last year.
Yeah, rival.
It seems like you guys were always back and forth.
and you need that, just
And
like
you
in
need
business,
that
you got to
because,
push.
so I was just going to ask, did Jesse Love make you better?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he made me want to go get that win more and just honestly beat him, just to show that I was better and faster. And we had our few run-ins, and that just fueled the fire for me to really dig deep and go get him.
Yeah, I've really seen now you're back at Elko trying to get, I remember when you used to race cars at the age of 9, 10, 11 in Minnesota here, and now you're coming back looking for that first victory on the ARCA series.
Yeah. I mean, I started racing the legend cars at Big Elko.
And then Little Elko.
Yeah, and Little Elko in the quarter midgets. That's where I started when I was 9. I have never raced a full body stock car at the big track since last year in the ARCA car. So that was the first time I was there in a full body stock car, and that was a little bit different from what I remember from that tiny legend car. Yeah. So that was a big change for me, but nonetheless, I mean, it's pretty much all the same and what I remember.
And it's kind of cool to see you come back home and race on that track in front of the home crowd.
Yes.
Now, what I want to do is transition a little bit from the racing itself really into the observance of Protect Your Hearing Month, October.
Yep.
And, sometimes you look at sponsorships between a corporate and some sort of sporting event or whatever, and you say, where's that connection? But this is a noisy industry that you're in. And I know because I've measured the sound level in or near the car when it's running at pretty high RPMs.
Yeah.
And I know that it makes it difficult, number one, to communicate with your crew when you're racing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that communication part of everything is huge in racing. You've got a spotter up top and your crew chief. There's so much information that the driver needs. For example, like the spotter will tell me where the other cars on the track are compared to me, tell me what lap times I'm running. So that all plays a huge role in how I run a race. And I also need to communicate to my crew chief what's going on with the car and how he can make it better. So it's just a bunch of little things that if you miss out on, like that can be a win or a loss in a race.
For sure. And even just being in tune without the communication, in tune with the car. Even though you're wearing hearing protection, you still have to hear where you are in the power band, where to shift.
Yep.
Any other noises going around, the spatial awareness. Because you don't have windows in these cars, you got to know where it is that your competition is.
Yeah, absolutely. And even on restarts, like you're starting side by side and you can hear the other car's noise and you know when he's firing. So it just gives you an extra indication of when to go. And so you're just not really guessing.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I think that's been kind of an education for me as I learn more and more about car racing. I think one of the secret sauces of NASCAR is, and I've seen where you've been ahead massively, and then if there's a spin out or some reason for a yellow flag, everyone just joins up again. You go back in and start again. And so that ability to hear what the competitors are doing as they're coming off the yellow back to start racing again is important.
Right.
And every millisecond counts.
Gives you the advantage.
Yeah.
And the other thing, it's helped, sound gear on the car has caused a conversation.
Yes.
More than I thought.
Yes.
I mean, I knew it would bring, awareness to the product, but more the protection of healthy hearing.
Yeah.
And, when I talk to people, now it's usually, yes, about Starkey, but, it's how's William doing? And then, sound gear.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, I used to, William, well, you're Brandon's son. No, I'm William's, I'm William's dad now.
Yeah.
And that's, as we've talked about, that's the greatest compliment a parent could get. But it's whether it's in DC and other industries, it's brought awareness to what products are out there that could help.
Yeah, and I'll tell you.
And winning helps. I mean, meaning getting out there.
It's awesome.
And the team and everything, yes.
Yeah. I mean, it is raising awareness within the general population. Then the second part I'll say, having had the opportunity to go down and meet some of your competition and some of your team, test their hearing, talk a little bit about the importance of hearing.
Yeah.
I've always been impressed with you ever since you were this high and playing the drums. You were aware of the importance of preserving your hearing. You were wearing hearing protection when you were this tall playing drums.
Yeah.
Not many kids are, including this one. So you started wearing protection before you had to wear these.
Exactly.
I'm not that smart, and I had to learn the hard way. And so, that's one thing, but I was also impressed at, first of all, seeing hearing loss in some of your contemporaries, 17, 18, 19 years of age, but also after talking to them a little bit about the importance of hearing, that the fact that the damage that occurs is permanent.
Yeah.
How quickly they were like, okay, I got to do something about that. And they got it, and even if they had a little bit of loss, it still is important now at this tender age to make sure that you're protecting your hearing all the time. So in the race car, communicating with the team, listening to the car. How about when you're training? I've seen your training facility, that hot room, and I know you have devices, custom devices that you can wear while you're working out, but it's important that you not overdo it either.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, going back to hearing protection, I've always been around it. That's what I've known my whole life. So I knew it was a smart thing to do is to protect my hearing so I don't have any problems later on. And I feel like another big misconception is that you get hearing loss when you're older.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think many people know that you can get it when you're younger. I mean, obviously loud sounds can cause damage for a few days, but they don't know that it can affect you long term.
Right.
So that's something that I would always know growing up and that my mom and dad reminded me of.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. People always think of it as only something that affects old people. But here, age and noise, they're almost inextricably intertwined. As you get older, you've listened to more loud sounds throughout your life, and it's important, even starting now, to do that hearing protection. So I know, streaming, but streaming at levels that are not extreme, and then also using the protection when you're not racing and you're just out in the pit area or you're watching someone else race.
And then we've been able to provide,
protection.
you have the protection, and then they realize they have hearing loss. I mean, whether it's race fans, team members, they've been around it for so long, and we've been able to educate them on solutions because they don't know what they're missing out. It just gradually comes upon, and then 10, 20, 30 years. And so we've been able to educate on product and solutions, and racing's a small community per se down in North Carolina, and all the teams know each other, and they want the best because everybody wants the edge, that edge for the competitive advantage on protection, sound quality, and then just throughout the week so they could hear.
Yeah, well, and like following up on that, a lot of times when I talk about the fact that Starkey has this sound gear division, first people look at me a little crazy, like, why would a hearing aid company want to protect or prevent hearing loss? Well,
I hear that a lot too, because 1 in 6 teenagers have a hearing loss?
Have measurable hearing loss.
And I hear that too, like, oh, well, you're in the great business. It's like, I don't want to make money off somebody's misery or that. I mean, so what's the solutions we can do up front to help people?
There's plenty of work to go around, given that the adoption rate for hearing aids is roughly a third of the people, let's say, that have hearing loss do something about it. And so if we can prevent some of that loss due to noise exposure, I think it's a win for everything, and it's a win-win. The partnership and the sponsorship, I think, has been fantastic. I don't know if you have anything to add.
No, it really has, because we've been introduced to a lot of other companies that are partners with Joe Gibbs Racing, and just being able to collaborate and idea share, but also how we can provide employee benefits with hearing aids and Starkey hearing aids to their employees. So it's really worked. Quite frankly, exceeded my expectations a lot more than I was expecting. So, especially, you mentioned the gym. Maybe we should go, do a workout with him or two. I've seen some of those videos.
I don't think I could even come close to keep it up.
No.
I mean, and you're doing that all the time. And I know a lot of people do stream, but people your age need to recognize that if you're streaming, even with custom monitors or AirPods or whatever, that you got to listen at a level that is safe, because you can be essentially, and what I've done in some places is ask people if I could just take their AirPods out what they're listening at and measure the level.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's equivalent to the level of a factory worker.
Well, Jim,
listening
he's
to
been an
noise.
ambassador, I mean, for Sound Gear, unofficially, just by people asking, hey, what's that? And so, it's been a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. Well, and I think that this sponsorship, if there's anything else you have to add of why it is that we started this way, but I think that raising awareness is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Protecting your own son's hearing
Yes, we've
is
done that,
important.
yes, yeah.
And then I think really seeing your success has been a joy for everyone at Starkey and in the larger community as well.
Absolutely.
So since I have father and son here, then when you guys go out for a ride, who drives usually?
Usually him.
I was going to say, you answered. Yeah, I think it's just by...
I drove one or two times.
Once a dad, always a dad.
yeah, that's the
But
thing.
yeah.
It's just naturally, but, sometimes I'll let him, but yeah, I know what to expect, or apprehensive.
He knows his way around town better than me.
Okay,
I have to
we'll
follow
go that.
maps.
But then when
Yeah.
I'm in North... But
The
when I'm
nice thing about living in Eden Prairie, Minnesota, for people that don't live here, is if you get lost, just keep driving. It's built in a
that's what you
circle,
should
and
have done
all
the
you
other
got to
day.
do is
Yeah.
just go left and just keep going. It's a little bit like a big NASCAR track.
Yeah.
So maybe you
But
can,
when I'm in North Carolina, I let him drive. He drives me around.
yeah.
Yep.
All right, fair enough. And the other thing I was going to say, you've only had your license for about year and a half, right?
2 years, yeah.
2 years now. Have you had any speeding tickets?
Nope, no speeding tickets.
So you know
Perfect
where
record.
you got to gas it and when you got
Well,
to pay the.
not that I gas it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Well, your
Yeah.
dad's here too. so
Yeah, you got to keep your superpower on the track, is what I
Right.
tell him.
Indeed.
Just
Yep.
keep it up.
Well, I can't thank you enough for being here with us in commemoration of Protect Your Hearing Month. And like I said, I watch to see when you're racing that you got those monitors in all of the time. Because one of the things that I hated, another occupation that places people at risk for hearing loss is musicians. And a lot of times in the early days, I would see the musicians' plugs would be on their shoulder instead of in their ears. And in these cars where the level is often 120, 130 decibels when you're in the cockpit, that can cause instantaneous damage.
And what he's doing amongst other younger athletes too is, he's eliminating that stigma,
Yeah.
helping eliminate that stigma, having something in your ears. So
Well, keep up the great work. Good
Yes.
luck this weekend.
Thank you, appreciate it.
I wish you all the success and continued success.
Hometown
You're
win.
killing it.
Yes.
Hometown win. Let's go.
Absolutely, let's do it.
So, thank you for listening to this special episode for Protect Your Hearing. Wear hearing protection if you are in noisy environments. Like this if you enjoyed this conversation. Please feel free to send us an email at soundbites@starkey.com with suggestions for future content. But otherwise, rubbing is racing. We'll look forward to seeing and hearing you again soon. And thank you, William, and thank you, Brandon, for joining us.
Thank you.
thank you.
Take care.